All right, it's time to talk about a sci-fi movie, which means it is time to get spaced out. Today on Spaced Out, we are talking about Alien Covenant. This is the latest film in the Alien franchise. I don't want to get too far into it as the ordering of these movies has become somewhat confusing, but this is a sequel to Prometheus, which was itself a prequel to Alien. All three films directed by Ridley Scott. After a long time away from the Alien franchise, a few years ago he came back to make the prequel Prometheus, and now he's back with the sequel to the prequel in Alien Covenant. Now, most of the characters from Prometheus are not back from Alien Covenant, as they dead. Instead, we're focusing on David, the android played by Michael Fassbender from Prometheus, who is an enormously fascinating character. He kind of got short shrift in Prometheus, but he really gets to take center stage here as a brand new group of astronauts stumble across a world that David is living on all by himself. The movie very quickly ratchets up into a sort of Island of Dr. Moreau type feature where we find out that David has not only killed the remaining survivors from Prometheus, he has killed the inhabitants of this planet and has been tinkering around with genetics to create the ultimate killing machine, meaning that David is the father of the aliens from the Alien movies. Which is sort of weird because the aliens are sort of an afterthought here. This is a movie that really is all about themes of creation and robots and humanity and can a robot be human and sort of all of these weird, heady ideas that Scott seems to have become fascinated with. It's interesting that Ridley Scott has returned to the Alien universe without being terribly interested in the aliens themselves. After all, they don't even show up in Prometheus. He is, however, very interested in David, and as a viewer, so am I. He's a fascinating character and a truly terrific villain. And there's a twist involving him at the end that, while I saw it coming, was still enormously satisfying. Really, the villain has become the protagonist of these movies, and it's also hard not to sympathize with David, who sees himself, I think rightly so, as apart from humanity and seems to have a very cruel streak running through him regarding his creators, who he feels sort of abandoned by. Fassbender also gets to play double duty in this movie, playing a second robot who shows up with the new astronauts named Walter. So we get to see some what are the differences between Walter and David sort of scenes that involve some really terrific effects of having the same actor playing dual roles on screen at the same time, including one extremely memorable scene involving a flute that I don't want to ruin for anybody because it is so peculiar. The rest of the cast is perfectly good in this movie. You have Danny McBride turning in a fine, sort of horror film role as opposed to his usual comedic stuff. Certainly makes me excited for his upcoming Halloween. You have a blink and you'll miss him appearance by James Franco. And then I'm afraid I forget the name right now of the lead actress in the feature, but she is also really good, although Ridley sort of pigeonholes her into aping Sigourney Weaver a bit too much. But that's not her fault. Alien Covenant, certainly a flawed movie, but to me a fascinating one that I am excited to revisit a number of times. 3.5 stars. And don't forget to visit our website, northmetrotv.com/everymovieever. There, you can watch reviews of every movie we've ever covered here on the show, as well as complete episodes. That's northmetrotv.com/everymovieever.